All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So I'm up early, phone was blowing up, finding out that Meatloaf had passed away. That's Marvin Lee Aday, in case you didn't know his actual name. A lot of people, after a while, just forget that some of these performers have names that they don't use, like Elvis Costello, I think is Declan McManus. I might have that wrong, but in any event, most of this is by memory. So if I mess up, it is early, and I'm just trying to pay tribute to one of the wildest performers in the history of rock music, whether you liked his shtick or not. He was a true original, born in Texas, had a bit of a swagger when he got out there on stage, threw his weight around, literally 250 pounds back in the day when Bat Out of Hell was literally everywhere. People forget how enormous that first Bat Out of Hell project was. You had members of the E Street Band. You had Todd Rundgren in on it. And of course, the brilliant Jim Steinman, writer, arranger, producer, just an amazing influence. And also no longer with us as he passed away. I think, what was it, last year, early last year? We lost Jim Steinman. So we lost Jim Steinman and Meatloaf. What's ironic is recently Meatloaf was on with Mike Huckabee, the Huckabee Show, talking about how he missed his good friend, Jim Steinman. Well, they're together. Hopefully they're not hanging out with any bats out of hell. Just a great performer, a fantastic showman, not only a great performer, but a decent actor. If you grew up in the 80s, you probably had to go to a midnight showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which of course starred Meatloaf and a bunch of other crazy characters. Not my favorite thing, but you know, back in the day, it was something that I will admit to doing. I think one of the most unlikely things about Meatloaf's career was 1993. The music industry is going in the opposite direction. He returns with Bat Out of Hell Part 2 with Jim Steinman. And his biggest song is going to end up being I Would Do Anything for Love. It's going to be bigger than Paradise. It's going to be bigger than 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad. It becomes a monster radio song. I think it goes to #1, if I remember, which again was so unlikely based on what was happening in the business. Here comes this theatrical, bombastic production, and it returns with a vengeance. And people are digging it. People are out there buying it, and it was all over radio. Just a great performer. It's hard to really categorize Meatloaf because he was kind of like his own category, right? And that's what made him special. That's what made him unique. One of the weirdest stories is he was in Dallas when JFK got shot, and he actually watched the procession of vehicles go by, and got to see up close, apparently, Jackie O with blood on her from the shot that was heard around the world that day. Just an incredible, weird, and surreal memory to have. But again, Meatloaf being from the Dallas area, that was something that everybody wanted to do that day, and he was a part of that. So that's another strange piece of history. Meatloaf will be remembered mostly for Bat Out of Hell 1 and his relentless live performances, which were just better than most people. Just an amazing performer, amazing artist. I got to see Meatloaf in 1988 when nobody wanted to go see Meatloaf. He had quite a career lull between the 2 Bat Out of Hell albums. And in the 80s, you could probably go see Meatloaf for like $15 or less. And I think I paid the cover charge at this place in Hyannis, Massachusetts, and walked in, and a bunch of people are kind of milling around, and there's Meatloaf and his band on stage performing, and people were paying probably just as much attention to the scenery and to the other people in this bar area than they were Meatloaf's performance, which showed me, wow, this guy has really fallen from grace. But he came right back and has been just a force ever since. Since Bat Out of Hell 2, that really enabled him to go back out and put on just a great performance. And for many years, he's been releasing records and putting on great shows. 74 years old. Cause of death, of course, not given. Meatloaf, lots of health issues recently and over the years. So again, some people would say he was probably lucky to get to 74. I don't know, but I do know this, is that he's no longer here. And my thoughts and my prayers go out to his fans and his friends and his family.